But the Ciampa Breaker match, that's what anybody that was watching this, that's what they wanted to see. The rematch for the NXT title, Ciampa and Breaker. They fooled us the first time. I thought they were just going to pull the trigger on it right away, but instead they put Ciampa over and they waited and they did the freshen up business in the War Games, and it's been better for Bron Breakker because he's even better now, and it's scary how quick he's getting good. And they gave him both the long walks in the back, and then the match was commercial free. So again, the WWE, one thing you cannot take away from them, even if sometime they refuse to do it, is that they know how to do the little things, the things that make a big match seem like a big match, or just the little television production things, or they don't just waste shit and make it unimportant when it could be made important. So they built, and they still had 14 minutes on the air when the entrances started, and then I'm pretty sure that I don't know that they've done an overrun over the last several weeks, have they?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because they did here, and that made it even better. So anyway, a lot of people mentioned Bron Breakker comes out for his entrance. There's a big gold X in the aisleway, and he gives it the big boot and kicks the X in half. They're killing the black and gold brand. I got news for you. I was done before he kicked the X. But again, Bron Breakker, Rex Steiner, he's got an incredible game face. You believe that he's fired up. He's like a Goldberg. He's firing himself up for real. He's like his father. He's kind of fired up, and or his uncle. And every once in a while, they might get carried away. That's the danger of a guy this fucking massive and strong, but it adds to his unique look and attitude. And Ciampa, again, has a unique look. It has the same qualities. You believe him. He's got a game face. He's serious. He believes it himself. They did the introductions, the female ring announcer trying to do the deep voice. It's and a female referee for this was a visual buzzkill, because how dangerous can these guys be? But I couldn't help but noticing what you pointed out on the show last week or whenever. No weight, no hometown. Introducing the challenger, Bron Breakker. That's so flat.
Yeah.
It's not only not sporting-like, it's not even... I'm not saying you got to announce everybody like the fucking guy in A Knight's Tale doing the carnival barking for the fucking Coliseum crowd. But you build it up. Build your champion and your challenger up a little bit of that 200 and whatever pounds from the great state of confusion. Whatever. So they opened up with a hot spot. And Steiner is letter perfect. He's so strong, but the difference is, like Dr. Death Steve Williams, he can show the strength by applying it to real wrestling moves and settings. Like Dr. Death wasn't the world champion bench presser, but he could press a 300-pound fucking guy over his head multiple times in the ring. He could show his strength in a wrestling setting. So, Steiner's the same way, and you can see that Ciampa's leading this, but Steiner knows how and how much to sell shit. He doesn't oversell everything or sell everything the same amount. He's there for everything in the right place. The match made sense. They had a good pace. At one point, I don't know if you saw in the highlights, Steiner catches Ciampa. Ciampa was going for a Thez press, and Steiner caught it and just spun him into a spine buster. And a big move and perfect. And, Ciampa's doing the little subtle heel things, like when, he'll nut Bron Breakker or Steiner on the rope or on the top rope or whatever, and stay on him, but then he'll let Steiner come out and hit another one of these fucking things. He hit another spine buster and a standing moonsault. And I was going to say, wow, that form on the standing moonsault was perfect. Poor old Red Velvet ought to take notes of that. But then apparently, when he came down with that moonsault, he busted Ciampa's eyebrow open with apparently his elbow. Because that's the only thing could have been, because Ciampa start bleeding moments later. And then Ciampa has those knee lifts and pulls his pad down, and it looks like he's laying them in. It's not like those sissy, fucking, skippy, dippy video game knees that Olivier and the Hardley boys do. This looks like a man trying to fucking knee you in the face. And they go into the overrun. They're trading in the middle. Steiner came out with a Frankensteiner, and they called it that. Crowd was barking in some places. Did you see the part where Steiner went for his press into the power slam, and Ciampa came out of it and countered it into the Widow's Bell, where he had Steiner draped over the ropes?
Yes, I did see that.
And Steiner positioned himself perfectly, going into that on the fly, on the move. Then the half crab, the rope break. Ciampa pulls the floor pad up and exposes the floor, so he's going to do some damage. But what a bump. Steiner Alabama slammed Ciampa like Bob Holly used to on the announce desk, and it exploded perfectly. And Ciampa bounced up and landed in a sitting position and then fell back again. You couldn't do that again in a million years.
Let me stop you. That was one of the most impressive looking, and it was filmed or was shot perfectly.
Yeah.
The way Ciampa hit that thing, it was amazing. That was so impressive.
And he sold it and he had to go with it. But you know that, because when something like that happens and you can tell that, well, that was perfect and I really had nothing to do with it because I had no control over the shit that I had no control over, he just landed and went with it. He knew it was great. Anyway, Steiner hit his finish, but Ciampa got the ropes at the 2 count and broke it up. And at that point, I wrote, this is incredible for a guy. Somebody said that Steiner has just had, this would be his 12th match. I think somebody said in front of people. And so I've missed a few of those, but for a guy with 50 matches, this is just insane. Or even more. So Ciampa nuts Steiner again with the rope and hit 3 of those knee lifts and hit a pedigree and got a 2 count. And they call it something else besides the pedigree. And then suddenly Steiner comes out from under. Ciampa takes a bump. Steiner hits the bulldog off the top rope just like his dad. Steiner recliner just like his uncle. Tommaso taps out. And again by both guys. But especially, this fucking guy is a freak. To have that few matches and be able to do this and get through that and in that fashion he's got everything so far, except we'll find out if he's got the right kind of creative behind him, and that's not his fault.
We'll see what happens. It was interesting, too, that he's always worn really colorful outfits in the past, and this time it was all black.
Yeah, also, you got to think about it. When he was doing that, was not tie-dyed, but just that psychedelic thing, he blends in with the background and the logos and everything. If you're wearing black now, you will stand out from the background instead of the other way around. Used to, if you wore black, you blended in. Now the only thing that stands out from the rest of that whole set is black. I imagine they'll play with it a little bit and see what he looks best in and feels most comfortable, but I just hope they remember, even if this is a developmental program, he's still on national TV. So, again, he looks like he can handle whatever as long as it's serious and in a creative fashion. Same thing as Walter. They can't have this guy doing ha-ha. And a lot of people will call, well, his dad was doing it, in the varsity club, the dog-faced gremlin, and he had a fucking imaginary friend and etc. for one thing, there was a lot less ha-ha back then, so it stood out as different instead of more of the same ha-ha. And it took a lot of people seriously back then. So you could be different by doing that. Now nobody's being taken seriously, so the way to be different is to be taken seriously. And for a guy in this day and age that looks like that has this much talent, he just doesn't need to be doing silly shit to show that he's entertaining. Where else you got to look at this guy's facials, the way he fires himself up and he gets pumped up. And every time you hear him cut a promo, he's got that Steiner whine to him. You know, he's entertaining just like he is. Where are you going to see somebody else like this? Anybody can fucking imitate Benny Hill.
Although it didn't air, did you see Rick Steiner was there and he celebrated in the ring with his son after the event?
Yes, it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, did they put? No, they didn't put him in the Hall of Fame. They're not happy with Scott. But why? I don't understand why they're not telling that story from the start to get people behind him even more than they already would be. They're not hiding it, but they're not saying it, which is an odd thing. Actually, it's an odd thing for anybody to be able to talk Vince and to be neutral about anything. He wants to go full bore with whatever the fuck he wants to go full bore with. So they won't come out and admit it, but they know everybody knows it, and they will give the wink, wink, nod, nod little clues. The recliner and the dog barking and the dog-faced gremlin and the everything else. So what do you think the fucking issue is?
I'm not exactly sure, but you bring up Von Wagner earlier. They give these guys stupid names, and here you have someone who's ready to go from everything we've seen, and he has a dumb name, and right now is the time. Just make the change right now. It'll benefit everyone.
Because in 2 months, Bron Breakker would be forgotten, and they'd be calling him Steiner. And that would significantly help, because again, the name test. Do you want, in the main event of WrestleMania, whatever the fucking number is, Roman Reigns versus Rex Steiner, or Roman Reigns versus Bron Breakker? It just sounds phony. One of the Marvel Comics heroes or supervillains that didn't quite make the cut, and somebody swept up after Stan Lee one night and got the idea. But anyway, right now, Brian, good old Bron Breakker Rex Steiner is the undisputed reigning and defending NXT champion, and you've got to imagine that after that match and that great performance, he must have slept like a king.
Oh, of course, after that match. Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, folks, you can sleep like a king, like a Steiner, or even like a Breakker. You don't even have to win a championship. You don't even have to press slam anybody. All you have to do is just lay down to sleep in your brand new Helix mattress, because the folks at Helix Sleep have a mattress that is designed for you no matter what your body type, no matter what your sleep preference. Why would you buy a mattress made for somebody else? Because with Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way that you sleep. If you sleep on your stomach or on your side or on your back, they've got a mattress. If you sleep standing up in the corner, just get one of these bad boys, lean it up against the wall, and just lean back. However you sleep.
Well, they don't recommend that method to get your sleep. There
used to be a guy that took naps leaning up on the front porch, and that lived down from my grandfather in Duck Run, Kentucky. And sometimes little neighborhood children would just come up and they liked him. They just put an apple in his hand while he was standing there. He was asleep, but he was leaned up against the front porch, so he was kind of standing there. If you didn't look too close, you'd think that he was just standing there, but really he was asleep. Anyway, Helix knows that everybody's unique, so you get on the helixsleep.com site and you take a 2-minute quiz, because they've got the soft, the medium, and the firm mattresses, cool-down mattresses for spinal alignment. If your spine's aligned, they'll give it a twist anyway, just to make sure. All these mattresses, you take the quiz, they match you up to the perfect one for your body type and preferences, And then they send it right to your home. It comes shipped for free in a box, and the imaginary, magical unboxing process is easy and quick. You don't need 2 or 3 people to lug this thing around. It springs to life, but not in a dangerous way. It won't put your eye out. And then it's got a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. There will be absolutely no risk. When you're on the Helix mattress, they warranty and guarantee that you are free of risk. You can't die. You can't be killed. Nothing bad could happen to you as long as you're touching the Helix mattress. Once you get up off this mattress, well, then your risks begin again, and they cannot cover you. Right, Brian?
Wait, what?
You get to try it out for 100 nights, and it's risk-free. That means as long as you're on the Helix mattress, you are free of risk. Nothing bad can happen to you. You're
See,
not
that's what I thought you said. That's what I thought you said.
The ceiling can't fall in on you.
Well, it could.
A plane can't land on your house. You can't have a heart attack.
You could.
It's like death takes a holiday. As long as you're on the Helix mattress, you are risk-free. But if you get off that mattress, even if you stop touching it for 1 second, shit's on. Anything can take place because you're back in the risk land again.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have no risk of injury just because you're not touching a Helix Sleep mattress. And for the record, Helix Sleep does not prevent you from any deadly injury that would be caused by, let's say, a plane landing on your house. There are certain things out of the warranty. There are certain things they don't cover against. But when it comes to a good night's sleep, they are the one you want.
10-year warranty. Try it out for 100 nights. They're risk-free. All right. But they'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it. And if you're still alive and had nothing bad's happened to you, then you'll be there when they come and they'll pick it up and take it away. And they'll think you're assholes because it's a beautiful mattress. It's just something wrong with you, the reason why you don't like it. But anyway, Helix even has financing options and flexible payment plans. If you can be flexible with your payments, so can they. So a great night's sleep is never far away. And right now, folks, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners, just the important people, the ones that listen to us, our chart-topping programs at helixsleep.com/JCE, HELIX, sleep.com/JCE, up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. helixsleep.com/JCE, and you'll be fairly safe on these mattresses, even no matter what Brian says.
I said you'll be safe on the mattress. I mean, when it comes to good sleep.
Well, you said they won't be risk-free. They might still have a heart attack, brain aneurysm. Some type of, maybe a pile-up on the parkway will land in their living room. I get you said that the Helix Sleep mattress can't protect them from everybody, even though it's risk-free, so I'm trying to leave these options open. helixsleep.com/JCE.